Welcome to the next edition of Real Talk. I'm the Warden of Death Row, along with Vincent, my comrade Bone, and I'm introducing a new member of the panel, Mr. Franklinton. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me, Warden.
Hey, look, I want to talk to Mr. Franklinton about a lot of things that we discussed in our last conversation. In particular, I want to start off with the sanctuary states. I want to say that a lot of people ask me, like, what do that mean? Like, what is a sanctuary state? So let me go in depth a little bit and explain that. Well, sanctuary state is a place that immigrants, that the state allow immigrants to come and they host them. They put them up, they house them until they find a place, you know what I mean, to actually put them up. And it's a lot of citizens out here that's not being treated the same way. And that's my point. And we spoke on gentrification. They asked me, what is gentrification? Gentrification is like if you don't recognize your neighborhood no more, if you see like coffee shops and new developments, big buildings and stuff like that that wasn't there 5, 6 years ago, and you notice that your people is being relocated to
Right.
different places, that's gentrification.
Yeah,
And I
people
want to talk to you about that, Mr. Franklin.
people are seeing gentrification all around them. If they don't know the word, they've seen it. They've seen a poor urban community, wealthier people moving in, and then businesses that weren't there that they often can't afford are now there. That's gentrification, and it usually means that the population that was there has been displaced. We've seen this happen in Long Beach.
Right,
Sanctuary city. You talked about sanctuary states. Long Beach is a sanctuary city.
right.
And the most recent time where this became the most apparent was when during COVID-19,
Hmm.
Mayor Garcia, um, there was, if you remember during COVID, there was a crisis happening at the border where immigrant parents were leaving their children.
I remember.
And then there were some issues with how they were being treated. So there were some places that were selected. Well, Long Beach, they brought in the children on airplanes
But let me
into Long
say
Beach
this.
Airport.
Long Beach has always been a sanctuary city, because we welcome in
The
Samoans,
Cambodians,
Cambodians, Vietnamese. We always been open to that. You know what I mean? But those people came in like legally. Like, why should we care about people that's not from our country when we have so many people in our country that's struggling? Like,
and that's what a lot of residents don't
Governor
understand.
Abbott from Texas recently, he just sent families over here, and they put them up. And now California is like, Governor Abbott from Texas, he sent all these people because he don't want them, because he can't put them nowhere. He have his own problem in his own state.
My parents always taught me, and they always said it. They said, Franklin, you have to take her home first. You have to sweep around your own door before you try and sweep around someone else's. The issue I think that we're having is just in Long Beach in itself, we don't have enough resources for our own residents. But at the same time, we opened up as a sanctuary city. But let's be honest about politically what that meant. The reason that a mayor and the reason that Mayor Garcia opened up Long Beach as a sanctuary city in part is because it helped him politically. Number one, he was on the news and he was about to run for Congress. So now he's on the news for being a sanctuary city. He's giving speeches. He's looking warm and fuzzy. That was a reality. The other thing is that came with a lot of federal funding. And our convention center in Long Beach was losing buckets and buckets of money. It's usually always being bailed out by the residents. So if they put on the mask of, oh, we want to help others, but in reality, there was a political benefit
No,
and there was
it's what it
economic
is. It
benefit.
goes back to what we spoke about in our last session. It's about the vote. They really don't care about Mexicans, blacks, Asians, none of that. We was talking about, well, Iowans in particular, talking about the democratic process. It's like they can't actually outvote the people that's here, so they need foreigners to come over to help them. So they don't really care about like our communities, per se. They care about the vote. So that's what it's all about. Bringing in more people so they can get more votes. Basically, Democrats. I mean, they don't really care about our community. as they put it out. And I know you're independent, so you like me, you don't weigh in on Democrat or Republican. What's your let me what's your thoughts on this, Vince?
Uh, on the sanctuary thing.
Yeah, on what
Uh,
we talking about?
well,
Yeah.
I totally agree with you when you talk about sanctuary itself. It's just like what they're doing. They're protecting people who came over here in the wrong manner. I'm not down on you because I know that wherever you came from, if you came here like that, it had to be a crucial thing. But like you're saying, if you, especially in LA has the largest homeless population in the United States, and
Hmm.
you ain't dealt with that. You still got people sleeping in the gutter. And now you got people saying we want to make this a sanctuary city and we don't want them in the street. Okay, well, if you don't want them in the street, what are you gonna do with the citizens that's over here already?
Especially if the mayor ran on that. The mayor of Long Beach and Los Angeles
Ran on
ran on the
homelessness.
on the point of like getting rid of the homeless and helping the homeless. And
Yeah.
how can you get rid of help somebody and you bringing more people in that you helping before these people? Bone, what you say?
It's like you said, sanctuary to me is we're the biggest sanctuary because we let everybody in and not put nobody out. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
We're allowing everybody to accommodate our pleasures, and we're not accommodated by it. You know what I mean? We grew up in our community. We've been put out and been home because of the housing rent price, because of drugs, the prices, losing our responsibilities, our morale to have responsibility to pay our bills and stuff. But then you got all these people coming over here from Hispanics, Belizeans, now El Salvadorians, Guatemala. The West Coast border is different in Texas than the New Mexico border because we house people that's coming from other entities beyond Mexico, coming to the Mexico Trail. They
right.
coming over here
Chile, Brazil, yeah, all that stuff. Yeah,
all that. So
yeah,
we have a lot of different people nowadays in downtown LA and South LA on the runway. Like I said last week about the one way, the overpass, the freeway. That's all in my community right now today. And we supplement it. That's why I'm saying council of prayer. The first twice the only black council in our district ever been is that open up to our community trying to help us. They're going against him for helping us. So the big thing is they want to help these foreigners and not help us. Why?
right.
Why? When do we get our benefits from?
Right. So what do we do about the people that's being displaced, in places like let's say Moreno Valley and Victorville and Palmdale and all these different places where it's no opportunity? I think that we should start growing those communities. Being that we there, we should start growing those communities, start like educating our kids and let them know that this is where we at. So we need to start building this.
But Papa, we cannot give up though on cities like Long Beach where we had such a long and long-standing history. We have so many roots here, and even though
Oh, we're
those are
not
being
we're
pulled
not
up,
giving up on them, but it's the majority of us is like in Riverside, we in San Bernardino. So the places that we are in, we got to make that home because a lot of places like in Long Beach, Compton, and all these different places, we didn't lost our all our history. Like the people that we grew up with there is not there. The mom and pop stores is not there. Like it's gone. So how can you fight for something that don't exist no more? So if you're in a new place, I'm saying let's build that place. Let's not forget where we come from. And if we can get back there, let's get back there. But all the houses is like we didn't own our houses. Now we have people in our neighborhood that own the houses and they're not moving. And now you have to be bilingual in order to like be a manager of a building. So they're not gonna give you that apartment. It's like it's poison that's being planted like, and it's working. And they looking at us and they laughing at us. They laughing at us because they finally came up with a way to destroy us.
but this is what I saw when I was running for mayor. What I saw was when we would throw events, I thought all these folks from Long Beach was coming out. But when I would go around talking to people, I found out that they were living in Riverside, Moreno Valley,
Them
Victorville,
the
and
people
were
I'm
coming
talking
back.
about. Them are our people.
But
Because
they still see this place. They're still rooted here.
yeah, they are. And
Yeah.
we still have all our churches here. We have all our churches on every corner, but we can't basically deal with
Can't
what
drive
they
100
setting
miles to
up.
church every
They
Sunday.
setting up. This is systematically created. This is not something that just happened. They did this to
No,
us.
when you take the housing voucher and move it to Moreno Valley as a part of a zoning plans, that's intentional.
So
So these
now,
things
what
were
do we
intentional.
do that we're there? We got to build it like we did Moreno Valley. A lot of my friends start moving to Moreno Valley, 92, 93. Now Moreno Valley is developed. They got like warehouses. They have places to work. Victorville is not. So we got to do the same thing there. We got to start building these communities and know that we lost all that what we had. A lot of neighborhoods, we lost it.
I wanted to say this, staying on the subject, that the other day, a brother that worked, he's a supervisor. He said, "Man, we're not taking any more applications. These applications are for housing
Uh-huh.
at a shelter." He
Yeah.
said because we have too many, we overwhelmed, and lo and behold, at least about 15 or 20 people came. Even two brothers didn't speak English; they spoke French. You hear me?
Uh-huh.
They didn't even speak Latin; they spoke French, and they was trying to get shelter.
Uh-huh.
And this is what we talking about. When we talking about a sanctuary. How can you accommodate them when if you're being overwhelmed and you don't have the resources? The resources are getting depleted.
Let me ask that question then. Bone, what is the benefit of Los Angeles being a sanctuary city?
So there's no benefit from us for us, but for the people that's coming in, it's a benefit for them being a sanctuary city because they come in and get they getting money, program, benefit where they don't have any countries, these third world countries as refugees. We're not in a refugee camp. We're not benefiting from it. We're losing from it. Pushing us out. That's pushing us out on city. Look at the projects. They push the people out of the projects because of gang injustice. We're really not no gang injustice. You really want us out there probably because we're the only one that can stand up to be what we really want in our community. We want to stay at home. We want to stay in our hood where we grew up at. We fight for a gang that we grew up on. We grew up on.
Yes, it's you. Yeah, you going in and out, Bone.
I see up to where I'm at.
Yeah, yeah. Where you at?
I'm in LA.
What you doing?
I'm at the house right now. That's our block party.
Yeah, the block party. What is that about?
That's our community on 25th and Central, current fight, and all my homies, we try to build us black again, but along with everybody else, doing something for ourselves Juneteenth, really the Juneteenth weekend. Everybody in LA, Florence and Vermont is blocked off from Vermont, from Florence to Central Ubers. We blocked off Central Avenue, which is really the original black community in Los Angeles. We owned it, that 29th Street Bakery, and everything else. We all black community.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We got the knowledge to know how to reestablish a neighborhood, and that's what I mean about Victorville and Lancaster and all these different places that we at. We got to take that knowledge and put it back in the community and start building these places if that's where we're gonna be at. You know what I mean? Because
Like
yeah,
I said before, if we're gonna move the bar store in Moreno Valley, we need to build that where we living at. Build our mom and pop stores there. Build our mom and pop store. Build our businesses there. Build our families there. Build our schools there. Do what we gotta do there and bring it back home to Long Beach as well as to LA.
yeah, what I think happened, Bone, is like we lost a lot of support, like in Grandma and like the NAACP and the Rainbow Coalition and all these different peoples in the '70s and the '80s that used to go out and help us, make up our mind about what we need to do. Nobody's doing that no more. You know what I mean? It's like the generation is gone to where it was like help, and then when you run across people who do see, push for that, like people don't listen to them. Like it's like it like it's gone. Like we don't have that push no more. That we need to get back to being ourselves. Like you
That's
know,
a good name, Pablo.
what's that? Yeah, push. Yeah, we need.
That's a good organizational name.
They
Yeah, we
they
need
had
to.
Operation Push, remember?
Yeah, I remember something like that.
Operation Up and all that. Yeah, but they did have Operation
Yeah, they had that.
Yeah, but we don't have that no more. Like we don't have. I mean, like Black Lives Matter. You know what I'm saying? I wish Black lives do matter to Black people because I don't really. They go out and when something happened and they come out, but they don't have that constant push. Like the NAACP they used to have. They used to have offices. They have field soldiers that come out and talk to you and, different stuff like that. We don't have none of that no more. I can't think of no organization, besides the Fruit of Islam, you know what I mean, that actually, advocates stuff. You know what I mean?
Warden, as a black parent in Long Beach,
Mhm.
it is very challenging raising children in the city of Long Beach. Um, for one reason is that, of course, we want to teach our children how to interact with everyone, regardless of
Right.
their race. But also, we want our children to be able to relate to people who are of their race and have a cultural pride. And what happens is there's so few of them in a classroom. You have issues on the west side where black students aren't even safe walking home because they're outnumbered racially. Um, and just my daughters who were in middle school, Mia's graduated now, going into high school. The things that they face on campus as black students because there is not enough critical mass of
And
them.
and I'm glad that you say that because that's the whole point right there. Is the cancer is being planted. The cancer is starting in California, which is the biggest state in the union, and have more people than any other state. They starting it here, and then they're gonna send it to Mississippi, Louisiana. The blueprint is being drawn up how to divide, how to kill you off. That's why I say they laughing at us because it's working. For years they've been trying to figure out like how to get rid of us because we came so far. Like Tyler Perry, he owned BET, he owned VH1. I was alive when Martin Luther King was killed. It wasn't that long ago. We have came so far since that happened. In these 50 something years, we didn't ran circles around them. They have 400 years on us, and we surpassing them. We becoming like billionaires now. We are the most famous people on the planet
And that is a fear
Earth.
for a lot
Earth.
for a lot of people.
Now we gotta trigger all that stuff and put it into our people. We gotta help our people because they starting in California with the destruction. That's where it's starting. And after that, it's gonna go to New York, it's going to go into Mississippi, North Carolina, Arkansas, and all those places. That's what they're doing. I haven't seen a pregnant black woman in almost 2 years, man. Think about it. When the last time you saw a pregnant black woman? I
My
haven't saw one in almost 2 years.
my sister living in DC, but that's a good point. I haven't
Yeah,
seen one
that's what
around
I'm
Long Beach.
saying. So what they doing is in the biggest state in the union, they doing this shit and it's working. And they laughing at us. That's what they doing. All the power that we have the most famousest people in the world. We do. And we like it's like black people then pass white people up, and the white people had 400 years over us. And we didn't surpass them. Like I was alive with Martin Luther King, man. In 1957 is when they integrated the schools. That's not even 100 years ago, right?
No,
Oh,
it's not.
sure
That's not even
wasn't.
100. Look how far we done came. But then we lose ourselves because we don't have the grandma no more. We don't have the NAACP no more. We don't have none of that. All that's gone.
Brown
It's
versus
been
boy
it's
and
been
the baby.
replaced. I want to talk about like entertainers. I want to talk about like rappers and stuff. Like it's been replaced with people like that. Like they get in the booth, spin all this fantasy, and they take the fantasy with them when they leave the booth. When we watch Keanu Reeves and we watch him in John Wick and he go out and kill 975 people, at the end of the day, he Keanu Reeves.
We know that's a movie.
Yeah,
He's acting.
he's acting. But sometimes, like when people, like when I was young, when I used to listen to Ice Cube, payback's the motherfucking nigga. Man, I see an enemy, I'm pulling over on his ass. You know what I'm saying? I'm a menace to society. Scarface. The funeral is the funeral's over. The tears is dried up. Now the homies on the hood hanging deep, getting fired up. Like it was real, man. Like we really went and killed some shit over that shit. You know what I mean? Like, so the rappers need to leave that persona in the studio after they leave the studio and let people know their name is Larry Thomas. That's who they are.
And this is why that's so important because I was talking about my daughters, the way that they procure information and the way that they digest media and entertainment is largely on their phones. And this phone is in their hands all the time.
Right.
And so when they're watching an entertainer, they're not only listening to the album, right, or watching the music video, they're watching their lives, the life that they project on
Right.
social media.
Right.
So if the artist doesn't ever differentiate reality from virtual, the child is like, that's real.
Well, I watch like Corona commercials, uh, vodka commercials. It never give me the impulse to go to the store and buy vodka or Corona. So you
Man.
got to be grown enough to distinguish reality. You know what I mean? Like from fantasy. I know people who have big houses and nice cars on their Instagram, and then when I meet them, it'd be like, man, no, but that's not. It's just a fantasy. Like people can live whatever reality their Instagram dictate. You gotta be able to differentiate real from bullshit. You know what I'm saying? These people are not built like that. They don't go around like, and a lot of them advocate like Molly's and, all these different hallucinogenic drugs that really mess up our kids. You know what I mean? Like, man, you gotta stop doing that. That's not who you are, man. That's a fantasy. You're not this person that you depict in your raps. You're not. So you need to stop misleading our kids. What you say, Vince?
It's crazy because when everybody was in the zone when this gangster rap first came out, you had the sister named Dolores Tucker, and she spoke out. She said when they had Public Enemy, Sister Soldier, Ice-T, you had the chief of police, you even had Bill Clinton speak out against the hip hop. But as soon as they started talking about a bitch ain't nothing but a whore and a trick and talking about brothers killing each other, they got quiet. But she still was outspoken, and all of a sudden, looked like a perfectly healthy woman, she came up dead. Same thing with Reggie White. When Reggie White was talking about homosexuality, and they tried to get him on TV and corner him, he said, man, those ain't my words. He said, these words came from the Bible. He said, you got a problem with God? They got quiet. 2 months later, a man that was a #1 rusher for the Green Bay Packers, he was dead. You
Mm,
follow what I'm saying? So sometimes, man, when you got these evil entities pushing the line for a financial agenda, you know what I mean, and you say certain things, then all of a sudden your health take a turn for the worse, man.
right.
You
Well,
know what I mean?
and that you spoke on something I wanted to talk about, and that's like homosexuality. I
Mm.
believe that people can live however they want to, but you don't have to like I grew up, watching like Leave It to Beaver,
Mm.
the Brady Bunch, you know what I'm saying, Gunsmoke, like wholesome stuff. You
Mm.
know what I'm saying? But nowadays you see like two dads, raising a daughter or something like that. You know what I mean? And it's like if that's their preference, that's cool, but you don't have to show that like on TV. If they said people are born that way, and if they born that way, and they want to live their life like that, that's okay. But that don't mean that you gotta show it to our kids. You know
Mm.
what I mean? Like to make it a trending thing. Give our kids a chance to have a choice like we did when we was growing up. You know what I mean? We made our decision on who we are. It wasn't through in our face like constantly. Like we don't go around as straight men talking about, hey, I'm straight and
Mm.
all that. So you know what I mean? It's like every person have the right to believe whatever they want to believe in, but you don't have to put it in the media. You don't have to put it on TV in front of us, because like a man and a woman make a baby.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? A woman and a woman cannot make a baby. So it's like shortening us. You know what I mean? Like we're not having as many kids as we used to. That's a threat to humankind.
Mm.
We're not producing like God meant for us to produce.
Mm.
Franklin, what you say about that?
You know, living in Long Beach, which is one of the most gay friendly cities in the
Right,
nation,
right,
um, what's been hard for my family, and I talked to a middle school teacher about this. I said, my daughters are coming home and they know all of these like terms, PhD terms of different sorts of sexual orientations and things that I had to go research. I didn't know what they were.
right.
And he says to me, he says, Franklin, I can't talk about this openly at school, but I'll talk with you in an aside. And he says to me, a lot of times the girls I'm noticing that are on campus, they're saying that they're gay, but it's because it's trending to be
Right.
lesbian or it's trending to be queer. And you have to understand about the mentality of a young girl around the middle school age. He
Right.
says it's all about group think and group identity and being welcomed in these groups. So when the psychologists and the school officials make these plans
Hmm.
about what they're going to teach our children, I'm thinking, did you guys consider the fact that these are still kids and we have to treat them as kids?
Right.
They're
Mm.
just not ready for some of these discussions, I think. And the parents, especially after COVID-19, we were locked out of the schools, man. We to this day still really can't go into the school and check on our kid. Before COVID, I'd be at the school at lunch, whatever, going to see my kid. You can't do that now.
Right. Bone, what's your feelings on that? Like, how do you feel?
When I lived in 2005, I lived in Atlanta, right? I
Mhm.
seen the homosexuality population grow in Atlanta in 2005. Came to Mecca. It was for the time with Big Meech and all of us out there. And I said I left there because I had no problem coming back to California. But I moved to the South because that's one new area, just find a little identity in life, I did. But I had to leave there because they were promoting homosexuality to the highest. That's what they call the dudes download. The downloads came out. The dudes coming out, man. The dudes coming out, messing with the homosexuals. It
Right.
wasn't the
Right.
homosexuals. It was more the dudes. Now the men is messing with these homosexuality, and it's a big thing.
Right.
I couldn't take that. I couldn't take seeing some guys walking around in heels and purses, and the churches is promoting this on their billboards. Homosexual, gay, come on in here. Not knowing that these preachers is gay themselves. You know what I mean?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just like now it's like, yeah, it's like if you look at it, with mankind, we can't survive like that. You know what I mean? Because yeah, we can't really produce any more humans like that. You know what I mean? That's going against the act of God.
Well, I
You
said to my
know?
daughter, I sat her down and I asked her, are you feeling certain urges? I said, have you even kissed someone yet? She said, no, I haven't. And I said, it's okay for you not to, you don't have to feel pressure to make any sort of decision. But I did, as a father, have to say to both of them, I said, I have two girls. I would like to be a grandfather. Now, if you all choose to be lesbian, that is your choice.
Right.
But understand that in making that choice, there are consequences.
To the human race.
It's it's crazy, man, because I was looking at this tape on eugenics and their Planned Parenthood, and they was showing where Asians made up like 8% of aborting their babies. Hispanics made up like 5% because the Catholic religion, and whites made up like 13%. But they were saying that the African American women made up like about 49% of killing their kids. That along with mass incarceration, all that is population control when it
Right.
come to us. You
Right.
follow what
So
I'm saying?
that's what I'm saying. So they got it trapped. Like they got us out here like in different situations to where they winning. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I mean by they laughing at us because they not only locking us up, but they stopping our women from having the, because that goes like to what we were saying before,
Mm-hmm.
how they started off giving us Section 8, and they stopped the man from coming in the house, and
Mm-hmm.
then the women start getting these jobs and start getting that independence and declare. It's a good thing, I think, for women now to say, I'm independent. I don't need a man. Well, they don't really say that too much no more, but they used to. That
Mm-hmm.
used to be like a plus for them to
Yeah.
say that they independent. You know what I mean?
But
But they.
as men, we have to be more disciplined too,
Mm.
because we have to create homes and environments where a woman is feeling when she gets pregnant, oh, I can have this baby. I'm not even concerned. We have to
Yeah,
provide that
yeah. I
platform as
mean, the
well.
opportunities like for a black man, you know what I mean, are like adrenaline. They like getting real low, man. It's like to get a decent job, to be able to take care, like, in California alone, man, you have to have at least, I mean, to be like middle class, you got to make at least 85 to ninety
At
thousand
least
dollars, and then you got to have a spouse to come in
bring
and
it in the
help
same.
with
Yeah.
that. So, like, how many black men with the opportunities that we have in California or around the country? Like, you got to basically go somewhere where you can really, like, in Texas. You know, I got a house in Texas. Like, it's cheaper in Texas to live. You have the same amenities. You have the nice hotels. You have the everything. The same as California. You know what I mean? Outside the weather, but the weather been kind of bad here with the June gloom.
June gloom has
But you
been
know what I mean?
serious,
But
Warden.
back there, you can actually survive and you can actually get a job. I mean, it is places that the black man can go to prosper. California is not one.
Mhm.
It's
I'm
so
just
hard.
saying.
It's so hard. When I hear you say that, I cringe. It's true.
You
But
are 1%, bro. You are 1% of black men in California. Like you are you take care of your kids. You got a education. You know you fluent. You know what I mean. You know how to represent yourself and the community. You are 1%, bro.
the one
Would
percent,
would you agree, Vince? What like
Yeah, I would agree. He's with exception to the rules. You know what I
yes.
mean? One of the things I was talked about the last time that I was talking about how the Panthers, when they were getting killed off, they weren't able to pass the torch to us as far as the knowledge. When we started going to penitentiary, we started learning how to read, learning about history because of older brothers in the pen. But they gave us our time was so extensive till we couldn't get back out to raise our children because we was doing 30, 40 years or
Right.
better. You know what I mean? And so now you got these kids now raising themselves in that mindset. That
Vince,
mindset.
I don't mean to cut you off, but what's that brother name that was over the districts, the sixth district or the ninth district or something that ran for a long time and really represented in
in
Long
Long
Beach?
Beach,
Think
is
Yeah.
it D. Andrews? You're
D.
no,
referring?
no,
Andrews, yeah, that's who I'm talking about,
Oh,
bro.
okay.
D. Andrews and you is the only person I know in Long Beach that represents us. That's all I know, bro. You and D. Andrews. So I had to pick between you and DeAndrews to come on this show, bro. That's all I know. I don't know nobody else.
It's interesting you mentioned
Wow.
DeAndrews because they was talking bad about
I know
DeAndrews,
they was, but
and
I'm just saying
I know it.
these are the only two black
Yeah,
professional men in the city that I actually know that represents us. I know he was representing the Asians
no, I ain't
because
talking about that. They was talking bad about him, and then he took us to a meeting, and
mm,
it was for Juneteenth,
right.
and he said, "Look." He said, they want me to do stuff, but don't nobody come to support me. He said, look at all these people. They come to support whoever their
I know that.
constituent to
That's
get
why
certain
he had
things
to
funded.
represent the interests of the Asians
Yeah,
because the
yeah.
blacks in Long Beach
Yeah,
didn't
he
have
showed
no
us those.
interest.
Yeah,
I know that.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
'Cause
Blacks in Long Beach didn't have that. Blacks in Long Beach complained about DeAndrew talking about he don't do nothing for
yeah,
us. We don't have nothing for him to do.
yeah.
Like we don't have no businesses. We don't have nothing for him to do for us. You got to actually have something in order for somebody to do something for you.
That's
You know what I
right.
mean? Like we talked about before. Like Costco, like Smart and Finals. Like the white man, he owned that. He don't care who owned the liquor store in the neighborhood, long as you come and buy his product and you sell it. Like whoever owned the economy, the economics in the neighborhood, that's who neighborhood it is.
Mm,
Long Beach neighborhood belongs to the Asians.
mm.
That's who own our neighborhood, the Asians, because they
On
own
the
the
east side.
economy on the east side. They own the economy, the money that's in the neighborhood. So in order for somebody to represent you, you gotta have something that they're gonna represent you for. What they gonna represent you for? To give you some money from the government? No, you gotta have a business. And you gotta have stuff that you're trying to open. You're trying to do for your people. If you don't have none of that, can't nobody represent you.
Yeah, they wasn't even showing up.
So that's what I mean by you, bruh. You know what I'm saying? It's a privilege to have you on my show because the amount of brothers like you is so small that I had to really think about, like, I really thought about who I was going to bring on this show. Seriously. Now Bone is fluent. Bone do the same stuff. He do like different venues and stuff like that. He messed with
Community,
a lot
yeah.
of Maxine Waters. He messed with a lot of even Bill Clinton. Like, he have. Like, he real extensive when it come down to that.
Yeah,
And
he
that's
said he
why
was
he on
speaking at
this
the
show.
Million Man March.
You dig?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did the Million Man March, all that. He did the Game Ties in 1992. He the one who brought all that stuff together, involving Bill Clinton, Maxine Waters, and all that.
This is my concern, Warden. Long Beach is a port city. It's a coastal city. And it's the only coastal city left that is somewhat affordable. It's not affordable. We have to find a way to at least carve out some existence here for our people.
We
We have
always
to.
gonna have existence there. We always gonna have existence there. You know what I mean? But in about 5 years, I think that people like me and Vincent that actually grew up there, we're not gonna know anybody.
Not going to know anybody.
Nobody. All our history is gone.
Being erased.
It's being systematically erased on purpose.
Oh, I know it is.
Yeah, so we have to wake up to that fact that we are being erased, and it's like a practicing thing because it's going to be extended to other states and cities. They're practicing in California. If you can go at the biggest state in the union and destroy it, destroy its people, them little states, it ain't no problem. It's no problem. That's what they doing, huh?
Oakland is a port city, just like Long Beach. Oakland reminds me of Long Beach, but Oakland is a port city, just like Long Beach, but they have a lot of black history from the Black Panthers, and they're blacks there right now, and they pushing them out. But the ignorance of us not having the knowledge in Oakland,
That,
the
that's
history of that, it makes them be out in the streets. They doing the stuff we used to do, but not ownership. They own the house. They still in the same blocks. Blacks in Oakland is real deep right now.
oh, they still deep?
But a house, they grew up in.
Right.
No businesses. We got clubs, motel clubs, all the street life is there. It's there. I mean, the addiction is there. The homeless is there. But like we said, it's a poor city. But they don't own no businesses in that city. So
Yeah, that's
what do we have in that city but being homeless and being historical? That's all. We can talk history, Black Panthers. We can talk UP Newton, but where's the UP Newton school?
Mm-hmm.
right.
That is private. Where's kids are private? Oakland is a cold city, just like Long Beach, man. But it's still a lot of blacks there. But they doing nothing there.
Right.
I'm never see that. It reminds me of Long Beach because the port city, the water and everything else. But the blacks is there deep, but we're not owning nothing there.
Yeah, that's what happened. Like, what happened to that? What happened to our motivation to want to own? Like, we had one restaurant in the neighborhood that brung all of us there, Ken Dogs. And it was so small, Kenneth's. We couldn't even go inside of it. But still, we was appreciative just to have one restaurant.
Yeah.
And then when that closed, it was like now it's a soul food restaurant on Long Beach Boulevard and like I think 6th or 7th Street.
Is it?
Yeah, right off 10th Street. The guy that did my petition to be exonerated, he owned it.
No.
You know what I mean? The
Food-
white worked there,
food
worked
pretty
with
good.
him.
Food.
I'm just saying it's
I didn't
one
know
black
that. I didn't know
restaurant.
about the
Yeah,
one on Long
know
Beach
about
Boulevard.
I didn't
the
either.
food, and it's right. It used to be. It looked like it's a house that's converted into a restaurant. It's right off, like when you pass, what is that, Popeyes?
Yeah.
A little bit down, on the same side of the street. Yeah.
The thing is, there's an
it's a restaurant.
entrepreneurial spirit. When I was running for mayor, I met so many youth, and there's an entrepreneurial spirit. But I'll give you an example. School's out.
Mhm.
The middle school and the high schools are out. But this is a prime opportunity to be teaching our youth job skills, communication skills, all sorts of things that would help to propel them. Instead, this summer is likely going to be wasted on our youth. And that's not going to happen. And then they're going to spend 2 or 3 months trying to get them acclimated once school starts. And and they will start school probably having not retained much of what they needed. And I feel like that's where our opportunity is, whether it's going to be in Long Beach or in Moreno Valley. We got to start tapping in. I heard you all talk about the last episode about the Black Panthers, about the education and the feeding. We need that back. These kids are hungry. They literally are going into Target and stealing, and Target is allowing it because they don't want to look bad by.
Yeah, well, if you go to like a park and you look at the black kids that's in the park, you only gonna see
I
like
don't see a
two.
lot of them at the
You only
park.
gonna see two, and you gonna see the rest, like others and stuff. So it's
But
not
at
a
King
lot
Park,
of.
they took away even the thing at the park that would bring black children, which is the basketball court. There's no basketball court there. It's a baseball diamond.
No, man, Snoop and them just put a brand new
No, that's
basketball.
inside, not
Yeah,
outside.
yeah,
And
Yeah,
they
the
can't get
boys'
into
club.
the inside
yeah,
one.
Yeah.
That's
Remember,
limited
you
access.
remember we had all the basketball courts
right.
outside? They been got rid of
But
them.
it's a wrap here. It's
I
like
hear you.
basically, bruh, it's a wrap. It's like what you saying. I understand it and everything. It's over, man. It's a wrap. Like you can educate the ones that's here, but they didn't moved on. They're not here. They're in the places that we talked about, and that's what I'm trying to communicate. Is those places that we at? We got to start building those places up because they're not going to let you get back here unless you and the houses that's here. They cost 800, 900. They not worth really like you spending your money around buying them and being around people that's not gonna recognize you. You know what I mean? Like your neighbors is not gonna, hey, how you doing? They're not gonna say that to you. They wish you wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, my own neighborhood, when I roll through there, they looking at me like, what am I doing here? That's the way they look at me. The street that I grew up on, it had one black family left. Now it's no black families because the last one sold. So my neighborhood is like not my neighborhood no more. And that's okay because I understand that. And that's the difference. A lot of people don't understand that. They don't understand it's gone and it's a difference now, man. It's like we done moved on to different places. So we gotta build those places. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Social media is like real strong. You know what I mean? We can communicate with each other through social media. Like it's a lot of people
That's
that I
true.
haven't
That's the way
saw
that we
in
can
a
link up.
long time that you can communicate with them through Facebook, through Instagram, and all that, and spread their philosophy. Life is really simplicity. Once you understand something, it's easy to know what to do about it. It's when you're in the dark is when you can't control it. But if you understand something is a problem, you can control your way out of it.
One of my hesitations and my concerns about the communities in the valley is if they're not built up, then if white flight happens or the resources are pulled out, they're over the mountain and locked out of coastal communities like or South Bay communities like Compton, like Long Beach, parts of LA.
See, but what we're talking about is not when it's going to happen.
It's
It
already
already happened. So the whole thing is what to do about it. You know what I'm saying? One thing that we did learn in the pandemic is that everybody is like a human being. Like no matter how big you are, you know what I mean? Like Oprah Winfrey, like Morgan Freeman, like all these people went through the same thing that we went
together
through.
at the same
We
time.
all went through it, and like it's like almost everybody that been to prison. That's the way I look at it. Because you was controlled for almost 2 years. You was told you couldn't go outside. You had to fight for simple stuff like toilet paper and like water.
And you were isolated.
Everybody have know what it feels like now to go to prison. Everybody had to think about stuff. If you never used your mind before, in the pandemic, you use your mind. So people coming out the pandemic, why can't they figure out that this is it's over? I mean, it's like you actually got to really think about like your next move. you got to think about your next move. You got to think like, if I stay here, this is going to happen. I already see where it's at and what it's doing now. Should I stay here or should I move on to a place of opportunity? Should I go to Houston? Should I go to Dallas? Should I go to Mississippi, Louisiana? Should I uproot my family and take them somewhere where my talents, like your talents, like in Houston, oh man, you'll be the man, bruh. You will make it. I'm here to tell you that. If you saw before when I said when I moved to Houston is because the mayor had invited Snoop to an event.
And you see
And
all these
man,
black
I seen all these
dignitaries.
black people, man. They was doctors, man. They was nurses. They was like chief of this, chief of that. They was clean, bruh. I mean, I ain't seen no black people coming from California that look like that since I was a kid, man. I was like, oh shit, man. I gotta move to Houston, bruh. I gotta move to Houston. You know what I'm saying? And then everybody got big houses, nice cars. You know, the youngsters, man, you will pull up, you know, the youngsters working, man. They had tire shops, they had goddamn McDonald's, they had Burger Kings, man, they got nice cars. They working, man. Everything is like it used to be in
Wow.
California. And I was like, man, I gotta move. Even when I was in Mississippi, I got a house in Mississippi. It's like, man, I feel like at home. Everybody is like who they say they are. You know what I'm saying? It's like if a person present themselves to you in Mississippi, more than likely that person is who they say they are. I love that, man. And they never changed on you. They was always who they say they was.
Mhm.
They come to your house, man, and help you, bruh. Bruh, like man, you don't owe me nothing. Man, bruh, that's just like in California, it's unheard of. So sometimes you gotta make up a decision, like how you wanna live, man. You wanna continue to live like this? You wanna continue to struggle? Where there's no opportunity where on your talents, you can't win them over because of the color of your skin? In California, the most democratic state in the union, you can't win, man.
It's crazy because my grandfather moved here. Well, probably it's like your grandfather. They moved here from Arkansas, Texarkana, um, a part of that migration because of the opportunities in California.
It's
And now
reversed.
those are gone.
It's reversed. Exactly.
And it's so challenging to raise a
Like I
family
had
here.
said before, Bone, Vincent, when we was talking about the Watts riot and we was talking about the 92 looting, back then they was trying to figure out how the hell they get rid of us. They came with the Contra. They came with the Contra and they introduced us to drugs. And then they threw it in our neighborhood like in multitudes. And we all started selling it. Either you were selling it or you were smoking it. That's what broke up the family. That's what broke up the family. They came with that. And it made us dependent on hustling. So a lot of us didn't go to college no more. We didn't have that drive. We sold dope. Why am I go to college when I can stand on any corner and make $2,000 every night?
Mhm.
No, I'm not going to school no more. So we used to sell marijuana. Now they legalized marijuana. And now the drugs, we can't even get the drugs no more because the cartels control it. They used to have us to sell it for them, but they don't need us no more because they got networks to do that. So now we can't even get that. So now we can't even hustle. In
Mhm.
California, you cannot hustle. It ain't no hustle. It
Mhm.
used to be a hustle. I could stand on any corner, Bone, and make $1,500 to $2,000 every night. That ain't happening no more, man. That's what we got used to. That's what we got. I know you don't know about that.
Mhm.
You don't know about that, bro. But that's what we used to do. Everybody, all of us had like Chevys and El Caminos, and we had all that, man. We had hundreds of thousands of dollars on Bone.
Yeah.
We had different houses, man. Like one of the homies that have 4 or 5 different houses, man. Wasn't no homelessness. Wasn't no homeboys homeless.
Mhm.
No, wasn't no homeboys home. We had hey, we had big ass houses in different like white neighborhoods, man.
Even a smoker had somewhere to lay his head.
Yeah, everybody had somewhere to lay their head. Huh?
He said Victorian home.
Man, we had all kinds of different houses, man. We had money, man. We had money for years. That lasted for like, what, about 35 years? About 35 years. You can get out of jail, set you up, man. You balling.
I didn't see it.
In a month.
I didn't see it, but I heard about it.
Yeah, in a month, you be rich. Month and a half, 2 months, man, you got 150,000, man. Yeah. That fast.
I take my home surpluses, right, and buy packages when they come home. Well, one time they came home, we had money, we started taking them to the mall.
Right.
West, couldn't eat it at least. Get the khakis, because we ain't wearing the khakis no more.
Yeah.
To the mall now. We got Cadillac. We got Dayton's now.
Like lined up. We had cars like lined up, man. Lined up.
They're not G-Rides. Remember, we be a G-Ride lined up.
No, we had these, we own these cars. We owned these cars for years. So that's what stopped us from going to school.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. They did this. It was, man, and they worked it out. And now they got us exactly what they want us.
All the families have sold their homes.
Yeah, because you can't afford
Can't
it.
afford them.
Yeah, we got used to a certain lifestyle that they gave us, and they took it away. They took it away, man. It was all a plan.
Hey, Papa, when I came home in 1987, I came home to the house I grew up in as a child. Never lived nowhere else in my life. I 19 years before I went to jail, 19 years old, I lived in one house. I came home 6 years later from the pen to that same house, and my grandma passed, and my mother and they went to Silicon, they couldn't afford to stay there. But we owned the house. But we were so much in debt from the equity being loans, took out to do this, and do this, and do this, live we want to live, continue living, that we didn't have no work no more, so we took our loan out, and we sold our house to Mexican. Mexican that bought our house, turned our whole house around, and if I went back to buy that house from that Mexican, he gonna double charge me more than what we sold to him for, because he knows that we have the interest in our communities now, but they have already bought us out.
Right.
We can't go there no more.
Right.
So, Papa, you saying we all just need to move?
No,
To
we
Houston.
all need to acknowledge our problems.
Well, first we
need
have to acknowledge.
sit down and talk about a resolution to come up with a plan. Like I was saying, to build those communities that we already have. And for us out here, let's start trying to open up like certain restaurants. We can even start by, opening up like little markets, like the Mexicans do, or the Brazilians do, or whoever is standing on the corner selling their foods. Like we can start having our little stands, like burger stands and barbecue stands,
But
and
Warden,
start
that's the
like
one
that.
thing I don't understand. What I don't understand is why so many Latinos are on every corner at night, and they do it at night because the restaurants are closed, right? But people still want to eat.
Right.
But Long Beach pretty much shuts down, and a lot of LA does too. They shut down at night. So, and that's when those the taco stands or whatever
Pop-ups.
are popping up.
Right.
Why is it? Now we can cook.
Right.
We're not out there.
Because
That's a hustle
Go ahead,
that we could still
I'll
be doing.
say this, that it's been a few brothers and sisters going out there trying to cook, and they were sweating them for permits, but yet they wouldn't say nothing to them. You follow what I'm saying?
And that's what's going on at Long Beach
And-
City Hall
and-
right now, 2 weeks ago.
And
What you talking about?
It's kind of dangerous now. Like I say on the news recently, a lot of the ones that's out there now have been getting robbed back to back. It's been on the news for like a week straight.
Well, we got people for that.
Yeah,
I mean, like we go through a lot of stuff that we don't even address. Like, and I can be hurt for saying this, but like we at war right now. Like we at war. Like they're actually like, a little 12-year-old kid got killed about a month and a half ago, and a little girl got shot. You know what I mean? And they wasn't black people that did it. Like we being picked out and killed. Like we're at war, and we're not even acknowledging that. Like these people are like killing us just because we black. They're killing us. And ain't nobody saying nothing about that. It's like a kid, 12 years old, somebody rolled up on him and asked him where he from and killed him, man, and shot his sister or his cousin or whoever that was.
She was 14.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was his
with
friend.
him. We being killed. Like I think it was a day before another little boy had got killed on I think the same street.
Yeah, the same street.
You know what I mean? So like we at war. We at war, and it's not even being talked about. They killing us. They running us out of our neighborhoods. They just like, and we're not talking about it because it's nobody like us that's having conversations. Like this podcast will never bring somebody on here talking about, yeah, he started this gang over here and he started that. I'm not trying to talk about no gang shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before, I'm a Crip. That's my tribe. That's the way I was raised. That's how I live. You know what I'm saying? I'm always gonna live like that. You know, but I'm not gonna speak on no. We was started, you know, as a movement for positivity, and somehow it just went astray. You know what I mean? Community Revolution in Progress was started to help our community. We started after the Black Panther. We supposed to be in positivity, and that's what I am. I don't want to know really about the history of this gang, the history of that. No, what we're going to do right now. How are we going to come together and make this thing better for us? That's what we need to discuss on how, because it's power in numbers, and it's like 10 million of us. It's like 7 million Bloods. It's Gangster Disciples. It's like all kinds of us. We the same. You know, like Eazy-E them said, we one gang. We all from the same gang. If you talk about it, you know what I'm saying? Like, because in prison, we hang with each other. We fight with each other. We support each other. We walk the same yard because we got this enemy that we at war with. But we got to talk about that. We got to talk about this war we've been fighting for a long time. We've been fighting this war. You don't know about it. We've been fighting this war in prison. We've been fighting this war for a long time.
I may not know about it, and that's true. I was the only person who came and said, this is our community. And that's what I didn't understand, even about the other people who were running it. I didn't understand, how can you all say you're about the community, and there are all these community members out here who are suffering and actually tied to this city, but you actually do less for them than you do for people that are moving into the city from other places and have no roots here.
Because if you saying, like, if you talking about like the sanctuary situation, what it means is that it takes in foreigners to help build a community. You know what I mean? That's what it means. It means it takes in foreigners to help build the community because they feel that we lazy and we don't have no interest in the community. And by us not having any businesses, it shows what our interest is.
But let me tell you about the hypocrisy there. The park that you grew up in, King Park. Before it was King Park, it was 19th Street Park. The statue there was demoralized with hate symbols. Around the same time, there is Long Beach has a lifeguard stand. They call it the Pride Lifeguard Stand, and it's painted with the rainbow. And that lifeguard stand was burnt down with arson. Now, come to find out, that lifeguard stand was burned down not because of hate, but because of homelessness and arson being allowed on the beach. However, the mayor and city officials spent more time and effort and grandstanding about that. But when it came to the Dr. King monument that stands at King Park, the only one west of the Mississippi, they literally painted over it. I had to bring in the artist. He lives in Nevada. He's responsible for having erected it.
I saw
He told the city how to fix it. They refused to do it. We have been and are being disrespected in this city, but we had that artwork there. So what's really important is that we do what we can to preserve the history that you all created here. But that can't happen if we don't, at least if we live in the Merino Valley, we got to make sure that monument
Well,
stays where
let
it
me
is.
tell you this right here, because you probably don't know this either. Uh, we ain't always owned the geographics of Long Beach. It was an invasion. What we did also, like it was certain places that we couldn't go to in Long Beach that we start dominating. People start moving out and moving out. Like history
White flight.
always repeats itself. Like we took over like from Pine Street, they still was on Pine. We took over what they call the Wrigley District. We took over the whole Wrigley District and they left. So what's happening to us, we actually did it too. We did what being done to us. History always
There's
like
a
repeats
difference, though.
itself.
There is a difference, though. We were born here. We are citizens. They come from somewhere else, and they don't acclimate into
I know.
the
I'm not
culture.
talking. That's
Their
not
culture is acclimated in
That's
here.
not what I'm saying, Vince. What I'm saying is the same thing that we did, as far as like taking
Yeah,
over
yeah.
those people, is what's happening to us. That's
Mhm.
what I'm saying. That's
Yeah.
the validity of what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Is this what happened to them? I mean, to the white folks that we did is what's happening to us.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of Asians live in our neighborhood. Like the Asians used to like they came over here from Saigon. Like we witnessed them. We like I was saying before that we saw them going to college. Like on PCH, Anaheim, all that stuff wasn't nothing there, bro. That stuff that you see now, all that stuff was closed. Them Asians came, they got their education. We saw them going to the city college in droves. They was going, I'm talking about in the 70s. I'm talking about 78,
He right.
79, 80.
He
That's
right.
what I'm talking about. We saw them. We used to go and steal their bikes and stuff. We didn't understand what they was
What was
doing at
happening.
these colleges. You know, across the street from the VIP, that was a dirt field, bro. All that was dirt field running all the way. It should be like an old bus
Sure
company
was.
across the street from where International House of Pancakes
Yeah.
used to be at.
Mhm.
All that was dirt field, man. The whole PCH was like all like it wasn't even open. The Asians opened that.
They gave them an honorary neighborhood too. They call it Cambodian Town.
Right. And they started taking all that stuff. Wasn't none of that stuff open. We didn't open none of that stuff. They did. And then they started buying houses in our neighborhood. They didn't go and live like what the white folks lived at. They live right next to us. It's more Asians in our neighborhood, it seemed like, than it is anybody else in our immediate neighborhood. I'm talking about like 21st. I'm talking
where
about
we live
all that stuff where we lived at because they start buying the property. Because we, like I said, we wasn't raised in no huts. We always had running water. We didn't understand what opportunity was. We always had grocery stores. There's people that come over here and look at our grocery stores and be like, damn, I'm staying here. You know what I'm saying? I can eat here. Like they didn't have that shit. That's why they eat all kinds of stuff like in Asia, man. Stuff that we don't eat.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Because the land of opportunity was real. You know what I'm saying? For them. We never had that. We never knew what it meant to not like have stuff. Like the government, if we didn't have it, the government provided for us.
Mhm.
They didn't, and they feel that we got like lazy, man. That's why they call them over here. That's why Long Beach always been like a dumping spot, like for different minorities, for Asians, Cambodians, Tongans, Samoans, Vietnamese, Koreans, Filipinos, all of them.
You can't leave out the Indians. What a lot of people don't know, my best friend is Indian. And, you know, when you're on Long Beach Boulevard or PCH, you see all those motels. And so really there's a community in India that consists of like
Oh, you're
20
talking about the real Indians.
Yeah,
You're
not
talking
Native
about the
Americans.
natives. Okay.
I mean,
Right,
India's
right,
from India. In
right.
Long Beach, most of the motels
merchants,
are
yeah.
owned by the Indians along
merchants,
PCH and Long
yeah,
Beach
yeah.
Boulevard. Yes. And so when they came to Long Beach, so there's an Indian community, village of like 20 or 30, and then there's a particular family that came to the city of Long Beach and they progressively began to own the motels. They would help each other. A family would come, they would help them. All of them would come together to make the down payment, and then they would live there with the expectation that when more family came, they would contribute to their down payment. So what then happened? But this particular group of Indians, they were poor in India.
Mm-hmm.
They were poor. They lived in like dirt villages. Some of them got educated, but because of their caste system, they couldn't do well. So yes, what you're saying about Long Beach, and it's the same thing with the Cambodians. They started coming in the 1950s to Cal State Long Beach. Then in the 70s, the mid 70s, the first wave came. And then in 79, the second wave came. The first wave was educated. The second wave, because they came before.
The second wave came because of the war.
Yes.
The Vietnamese
Well, no,
came
the first
after
Cambodians came
I'm not
because the
talking
war
about
was coming.
I'm
the
talking
first
about
wave.
the Vietnamese
The
came.
yeah,
They
that's true.
came after the war. After the war was over, the Vietnam War. After that was over, they started sending tons of them over here. Them the ones that I saw. Those
And Long
other
Beach
ones,
was the sanctuary city for them.
I didn't see the ones you talking about in the 50s and all that. I'm talking about the ones that I actually saw
In the 70s.
In the 70s,
Yeah.
they came over because they started moving like under the bridge. They started moving in our neighborhood like deep.
They used to walk in a line. They wouldn't even walk by each
Right.
other.
But they were
like
placed
they was
in
walking
that.
in the
They
They
were
trail.
was
placed in the
there, and the
neighborhood.
Samoans came. Now the Samoans was different because they was different from them. But the Samoans came around that time too, didn't they?
In the early 70s.
And all like a gang of them. I'm talking about like a lot. They had their own community
because we used to
at
try
Drake
to figure
Park,
out what
man.
they were. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because they
we
had
didn't know.
the little skirt things on and they
Yeah.
had afros like them. Was they
Yeah,
brothers?
man. I'm talking about thousands of them, bro. Thousands of them. Just like overnight. We start seeing them like, what the hell is that? Is they black? What
Like
is they?
Yeah, I mean.
And they couldn't really talk too good English, and we became tight with them. They was our brothers, man. They started cripping. Really. You know what I'm
SOS.
saying? SOS. Son of Samoan. You know what I mean? So we witnessed that. We never been against like any immigrants or nothing like that. We never really like reached out to hate them or none of that. That's not what it's about. That's not, we talking about the system destroying us systematically. It's not the immigrants that's at fault. It's our own democratic society that's destroying us, I believe. That's what I believe.
It is.
It's
Because they're
them.
allowing all that stuff.
They're allowing that. They know that we at
There's
war.
always been a hatred for us.
They know that we at war. They know that these people want to kill us. These people don't like us. These people don't respect us. None of that. They know that.
And they teach a lot of them to feel that way because you said your best friend was Indian from India. A lot of them, they don't want their sons or their daughters socializing with you.
Oh, she's an anomaly. Yes,
Yeah.
they definitely felt that way.
Yeah, so it's a definitely a thing symbolically that's been established worldwide about the negative images they have of us. So when
even
they come
the
over
Africans, like
they
don't even claim us, bro. The Africans, they like no American, no, they not African.
That was a
You
trip.
know what I mean?
I was in Bones area, substitute teaching, kind of a little east or west of US at USC, and I was substitute teaching at this middle school called Fauché. And I met this.
I heard of folks say.
Yeah.
30s hood in LA.
Yep.
Yeah,
I was at
30s
Fauché,
hood.
and this black teacher, I thought she was black. So I said something referring to her as being black. She said, "Oh, no, I'm not black, I'm Belizean." And I looked at her, she was darker than me.
Well,
She
was
made it very
insulted.
clear that her being Belizean was different than me. Have you experienced that, Bone?
Yeah, but see, you gotta realize the Belizean community is black.
They acknowledge
the Harlem, the Rolling 20s, the west side of LA between Adams district and the Harlem, them all Belizean. Even my district is all Belizean. We have a lot of Belizean communities that grew up with us. They grew up in the black community. They are black.
I ain't
They
never
grew up
heard
in
of
our-
not
That's
being.
why when you see them go to jail, they get deported to Belize. They get poor. They don't have nothing over there. When they go over there, everything over here is gone. They
right.
try to get back over here. They're the ones that's migrating through Mexico too.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. They are. They are. And I wanted to talk about.
Between the Harlem, the 30s, the 50s, the Potrays, the 20s, all that 8th and 9th district is more Belizeans than black there right now.
Yeah,
Right.
they'll tell you in a minute they black too. Them and Haitians, they ain't got no problem with telling you that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they was dropped off, wasn't they? I mean, they escaped from a lot of them escaped from the ship, didn't they? In Asia.
Whatever way they got.
In the 20s are believing.
Yeah, I know. I remember a lot of them, Crazy O and all them. They was Belizean growing up. Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that, man.
Time bomb, baby brother, all
Mm.
them believe. That's why they so crazy.
Time bomb.
Yeah,
Right.
that time bomb.
Right. Yeah, I wanted to talk about like the difference in different places too that I done went off to. You know what I mean? Like uh Australia. You know what I mean? Australia.
You were down underwater?
Yeah, no, they never let me in Australia. They never let me in Australia. They got a strict policy about Australia. But I heard Australia was like a dump site, you know, for Britain, like for all their prisoners. You know what I mean? They reestablished them
I heard that too.
and put them there. But you actually, you know, got to be a real great citizen from somewhere else in order to come into the country. You know what I mean? So it's like different countries have
Hypocritical,
different,
Hypocritical, huh?
yeah, hypocritical. Different countries have like different, like you can go over to Mexico and you can't buy a house. You know what I'm saying? If you're not a citizen, you can lease a house like for 100 years, but you can't buy it. Did you know that?
Come over here and buy up everything.
You can buy up everything over here. This is the most lenient place in the world, man. You can come over here and have a child from anywhere. And long as that baby is birthed here, that baby is a citizen. You
It's
know
the
what I
same
mean?
way in some Caribbean nations. You can't, as a U.S. citizen, I can't go purchase property there. There's certain like
Yeah, I know. It's
yeah,
like they have rules and that's what I'm saying,
Yeah,
in
you
different
ain't
countries
gonna
yes.
come
that
by
like
there.
you can't just go into Canada and just stay there. You know what I mean? They're not gonna let you. If they catch you, they're gonna deport you. Like you can't go to Britain and have a baby and the baby is American citizen. It don't work like that. That baby is not a British citizen. That baby is American citizen. This country have rules that they need to change. They really need to change a lot of their rules. They need
Yep.
to amend them like they did the 14th Amendment.
Yeah, I was watching Law and Order, and they was calling them anchor babies.
That's
That
exactly what I didn't
that
want to say that because
that
I didn't want to
yeah,
point out no particular
yeah, they was calling them anchor
race,
babies.
but yeah,
Any baby that was born over here, and their
right,
parents wanted to say they call them anchor babies,
right.
and they would use them to stay in the country by having babies over here.
That's what they do.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I was saying. I was pointing that out that, it's like policies here that, it's like watered down. Like everywhere else it's like strict. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But here, I remember back in the days, getting out of prison, you know what I'm saying? And I used to get on that Greyhound, and that ICE used to be on that Greyhound. They used to be on that Greyhound inventorying everybody. Like, let me see your ID. They'll throw your ass in jail. They used to be hard on that shit. They didn't play. But now it's like they need a workload, man. They need a workload. They feel that we didn't got lazy, bro. They
You mean
feel
people out there working in the fields in like
they
industries like
need people to
farming,
work at liquor stores. Like if you go into
waitresses?
an Asian market, you will see like a Mexican or you will see a different ethnicity working at their store. You won't see no black people working at no Asian store.
No.
Yeah. You won't see no black people working at no Asian hotel or no Indian hotel. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean. It's the workload out here that they need. They need
unemployable.
workers. That's the difference between California and other nations, other states is they looking for workers, bro. Because they feel that we done got lazy. That's why they putting us out in places where it ain't no jobs. Like, if you ain't gonna do nothing, get on out there. You ain't doing nothing no way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Get out there and pick a nitty around.
And you'd have to work for crumbs.
After they
Right.
destabilize you with drugs and the upper end of children, where the children no longer try to do anything. They subject is just like try to say be a hip hop artist or a thug, but they ain't talking about bragging on getting the good grades in school or getting an education. and so they don't strive to work. They
If you
strive
kill
to
a
hit
people's
lick.
hope, you kill the people.
Yeah,
If you can kill their hope, you can kill them.
real talk.
Kill their hope. Kill all possibilities of them ever materializing to anything. Take away their dreams. Take away their dreams. And all their dreams be unrealistic shit. And Bugattis and Bentleys and all this shit. You see them on the corner rapping to nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like walking down the street, just pants hanging off their ass, just out there, man, just doing God knows what.
See, but I think there was an unintended consequence too, and that was that a lot of the things that were intended for blacks, whether it was Planned Parenthood, that was intended for our community to hurt our community, and or even hip hop. They were fine with. I agree with you. They were fine when those negative images were devastating our family systems. But now those same ideas are impacting their families. Now whites are very concerned about.
But white people know how to distinguish reality from bullshit. That's what a lot of blacks don't know how to do. They don't know how to like.
More of us don't, but I think it's starting to impact their communities
I
as well.
think that we need something like a problem center. I think we need
How's
something
that
like
work?
a problem center, like a place that youth can come before they make decisions about making bad mistakes or bad decisions. Somebody they can actually come talk to. You know, like somebody that can teach them how to dress.
Basically,
like,
mentor
a
stations.
mentor stations, man.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
need mentor stations in different cities, man. That's
Yes.
what we need. Like somebody to come in and holler at or call. You know what I mean? And before you make that decision, come and talk to us.
That
You know
would
what I
be
mean? Because
powerful.
the grandma is gone. You know what I mean? Like I said, ain't no more NAACP somebody who actually cared for us. And ain't no more Jesse Jacksons, although he didn't really serve us like he should. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't no more Al Sharptons. It ain't no more, I don't know who it is now. Who is it?
Those grandmas, though, they're still here. Like in Long Beach,
Bro, not to cut you off,
Go
but
ahead.
who do we have? Who's our spokesman now?
oh, you mean like that? Nah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
I mean, Farrakhan's the only one that.
right.
And
But, you know, that's.
Farrakhan is what is he? He's in his 90s.
Thank you, Bone. I heard that.
What'd he say?
Yeah, like he said, you are Papa. Yeah,
Hey.
thank you, Bone. I can't see you, goddamn.
Bone.
I hear you.
Bone, how old is Farrakhan now? Because he's
He
up
like
there.
80 something.
Yeah, I mean he. ain't,
But
yeah.
you know, that's a religion thing, you know,
Yes.
and I'm not a religious person like that, so I couldn't follow that. But you know what I'm saying? The brother is well spoken, and I respect a lot of stuff that he say. You know what I mean? But I was talking about like T.G. Jakes, what's his name? That pastor?
TD Jakes.
Yeah, he's sharp. Like, you know, he's an educator. You know what I mean? But we don't have nobody like that that's talking for us no more. We don't have none of that. We don't have no representatives. We don't even have, like Maxine Waters, you know, she didn't like, you know, calm down a little bit. You know, she getting older. We don't have no representatives no more.
That's because people are afraid and they sell out, man. It's like, you know, if you
sell
like,
out and get killed out.
You had talked about being a Democrat or Republican. So most black people who are going to run for office, they're going to be a Democrat. And once they join that party, they have to toe the party line. I'll give you an example. Rex Richardson, who's now mayor of Long Beach, historically the first black mayor of Long Beach, when he was asked by someone from the 6th District, the East Side, they asked him, what will you do about black employment in my neighborhood? Will you agree to what's called a project labor agreement, which means that you or your son, well, a certain percentage of residents that live here have to be hired.
Mm-hmm.
He walked all around that, started talking about how his wife is a Portion Latino and this and whatever, and he has to think about everyone and whatever else. The bottom line is he would not stand for that because he had to toe the party line, and the party line is, like you said, seeking votes, and those votes are not leaning toward our
And
racial
not
group.
only that, it's no black community. It's like, it's no black community.
Well, that's what
because
he said to me. He said to me,
it's no black community because the black community controls some form of economic in the neighborhood. We don't control no form of economics in the neighborhood. So therefore, whoever controls the economics in the neighborhood, that's who community it is.
That's
It's
right.
not a black community. They can't run on helping you if you're not helping yourself. Like,
Man.
we understand this. So it's up to people like us to communicate that to our people and try to get some type of resolution in here to make people like aware of what their situation is.
That's right.
You know, my organization is called the Awareness Party.
The
And that's
awareness
the
party.
Awareness Party. And that's what I'm trying to do, is trying to make people aware of what their situation is. And your situation in California, if you're not trying to go to college and get some type of degree or trying to do better with your life, you're gonna suffer.
It's
You're
not in
gonna
your
suffer
best interest.
bad. That's the only thing here for us is suffer.
And let's add this. If you become educated in California, even with an advanced degree, you will be challenged to be employed. You're just not going to walk on somewhere with your degree from UC Berkeley or UCLA or whatever else and get that job. Let me tell you.
Unless you that token, because they gotta have that token. You know what I'm saying? They
But
gotta
you
have
only
that
need a few
token.
tokens. That's what it
right,
means.
Right. But it's only a few people that's applying themselves. It's only a few that's applying themselves. That's my whole point. You know what I'm saying? And we go to a graduation to a college out here, man, we probably can count the amount of black people that actually attending and actually graduating.
I was at a middle school graduation and they had they said stand up. They had these different names. Everyone with a 3.5 and above. And the kids stood up. I didn't see none of the black kids stand up. And then they had anyone with a 4.0 or better stood up. None of the black kids stood up. It just hurt my heart.
Yeah.
Hey, Bone, I know you got to get back to your activities out there. Is any parting words that you want to share with us before we depart? I mean, is anything?
I can tell you this here, man. This is very, very educational, very exclusive about the topics and stuff we brought up. You know, it's a lot of people that's fearful to say that. One thing I say about your podcast, bro, is that you're very intelligent, bro. You're very outspoken, and the power that the energy that you give out. Some people probably can't take. I always tell you that. Some people probably understand it, but they deal with it, and they know you're right, bro. You are a spokesman, Papa. And I appreciate you being the warden of Death Row, the warden of the podcast, the warden of what you do, brother, because that's what you are, man. You're a suicide and crybaby. You know, you're a very humble Muslim, and if you come from the mud with us, and we'll watch you in the mirror. I respect you, brother. I like your intelligence and this whole situation right here, brother. Let me tell y'all, man, the world is listening, and they're going to take heed. We're about to do something big. That's all I want to say. My blessing to this show. And I appreciate everything that's going on. It's educating and motivating me more to be the man I've got to be now. My father.
That's right.
Appreciate you, Bones.
That's what's up.
I'm going to go to the block party. And the night this right now, we're outside this doorstep, brother. I'm going to step outside to the street with a 1,000 people out there right now, man.
Where is it at?
We doing what we got to do for our community this day, June 19th, which was June the 10th when we released Abraham did.
Right.
We're going to celebrate this day, and I respect what we're doing, man. I love it.
Right. Well, we appreciate you for being here. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to continue to do what we do. You know, the more you know, the more you grow. We reach one, teach one. You know what I'm saying? So teach somebody something out there today, bro. And I appreciate y'all for coming on. And
Thank you,
I'll
Warren.
see y'all
Thank
next
you.
time. Church.